Lovely good evening and welcome to the main news on MUVI TV. This is your award-winning channel of choice where we are broadcasting to you live from our studios in Lusaka. Let's take a look at the headlines. DEC intercepts 73 packets of high-grade cannabis from 39-year-old Tanzanian national. CCMG demands for the non-payment of ministers to serve as campaign managers in the forthcoming by-elections. Kapirimposhi marketeers receive relief emergency grants. Opposition political parties remind Nkombo to demolish houses at Forest 20. Now with the details, I'm Virginia Chilongo. A group of concerned persons with disabilities have continued with their peaceful protests at the Zambia Agency for Persons with Disabilities, ZAPID, as they remain firm in demanding for the return of their former acting Director General Nicholas Ngoma, whom they claim was unfairly dismissed by government. Speaking to MUVI TV News, a group chairperson Peter Nkunika has vowed that the aggrieved persons will not leave the premises until their demands are met by the alleged sale of ZAPID resources that include Mukula trees without the benefit of people living with disabilities.
August 2022 Director General Nicholas Ngoma. Speaking to MUVI TV News, Mr. Peter Nkunika, on behalf of others, vowed not to leave the premises.
We see that our regime is back in office.
Meanwhile, an affiliate, Ausin Chiwe, has called on the government to bring back Mr. Ngoma and also to empower persons with disabilities.
We are appealing to the head of state, Mr. President, if you are seeing this, please come to the office for the ZAPID. Come and talk to your people. These are the people that put you in power. Despite the limitations in their physical abilities, they're able to do whatever they can to support you. Therefore, it's your turn now, Mr. President. Come and stop these people. We have been looking for far too long. Implement what considered. Opposition
Residents of Lusaka's TV News, Joseph Banda, says almost all the road signs and furniture along the Kamloops Road have been uprooted, leaving the highway with no supporting instructions to motorists and pedestrians. He adds that the situation is unfortunate and hopes the perpetrators will rethink twice and refrain from the act. He has, however, called on the relevant authorities to look into the matter as soon as possible.
Traffic signs prevent confusions on the road. While the importance of traffic rules and signs might appear simple, there are actually many reasons why rules and signs are important to all road users, not just drivers. They also represent rules that are in place to keep people safe and help to communicate messages to drivers and pedestrians who speak a variety of languages. But for the people of Lusaka's Kalingalinga area, the situation is different, as almost all the road signs along Kamloops Road have been uprooted, leaving the highway with no supporting instructions to motorists and pedestrians. Speaking in an interview with MUVI TV News, Lusaka hopes that the people involved in vandalizing the road signposts will think twice, as this is their infrastructure meant to benefit them and not government.
Sunday, my concern to residents of University of Zambia and residents of Kalingalinga, we have noticed that there are some signposts which has been cut off. What is the council doing about this one? We are asking, who is responsible? On that one, we might not know who are crossing over, because as motorists, they have to know there is a signpost there. But eventually, we have seen that these signposts have been cut off. So our question is, who is responsible to notice that these signposts are no longer there?
However, there are many obstacles and dangers on the road that can cause harm and put driver. MUVI TV News in Lusaka.
A 35-year-old woman of Kaseba area in Chief Chibale's area in Serenja District, Central Province, has been murdered by her husband. The incident happened when the duo was returning home from a drinking spree. Brian Mambwe is alleged to have murdered his wife Judith Mukosha after a drinking spree. Mambwe is said to have been angered by his wife for dancing with other men during a drinking spree. On their way home, the couple started to quarrel over them. Dennis Mula confirmed the incident to Zanis in an interview. Mr. Mula says the deceased sustained 2 deep cuts on the head as well as bruises. Mr. Mula revealed that Mambwe is currently on the run and that police have instituted a manhunt. Chibuye's body has since been put to rest after post-mortem. This is contained in a statement issued to MUVI TV News. 29-year-old Tanzanian national. The packets were sent through from South Africa and concealed in 2 surveillance techniques to monitor all drug-related offenses. The Drug Enforcement Commission has intercepted 73 packets of high-grade cannabis from a 39-year-old Tanzanian national in Lusaka. The packets were sent through from South Africa and concealed in 2 non-functional washing machines in order to identify the owner. Lusaka Province DEC Regional Commander Beatrice Mpanga speaks enthusiastically about the successful operation.
When we do controlled delivery, we want to, officers were tracking them, following them behind the truck. From Chirundo loading, we knew that in these machines, we had what we were looking for, that is drugs, illegal drugs. This compressed cannabis, which you have seen, one is 1 kg, and the total is 73, so we have a total of 73 kgs compressed cannabis. This sounds.
She says the Commission has high surveillance techniques to monitor all drug-related offenses.
We are trained, we are able to sniff, we even use the sniffer dogs. If we took the sniffer dogs at the border there, they are able to sniff even in trucks drugs. Not even illegal drugs, even money, they are able to sniff the sniffer dogs. So the surveillance is very wide. From the officers who are well trained, the informers, even what we call controlled delivery. We can even do a controlled delivery from Zambia to the US because we know that the kingpin are taking drugs to the US. So we just inform our partners. That's why we have international cooperating partners. So the surveillance is very wide.
The 73 packets of the high-grade cannabis were brought into the country through the Chirundu border. Right back.
The Zambia Statistics Agency will this year conduct the 2021 census. This numbering will extend to hotels, farms, as well as high-density areas with different families sharing a house and those in transitory locations. Every person in the country matters and should be counted because the census will benefit all, from migrants, refugees and street children, homeless people, the young and the old people, as well as persons with disabilities. Everyone counts. This
Step 1. Get used to a new place. Step 2. Learn the language and culture. Step 3. Pay your bills in a foreign country using your home Airtel Money wallet.
Welcome back. The Joint Investigations Team, comprising of officers from Zambia Police Service, Anti-Corruption Commission and the Drug Enforcement Commission, conducted investigations on a number of illegally acquired assets, out of which a total number of 24 motor vehicles belonging to different individuals were seized and have since been forfeited to the state, following the expiry of a 3-month period and failure by owners to claim them. Police say the seized motor vehicles were published in Government Gazette number 604 of 2022, but still there is no claim of the property. This is contained in a statement.
The Drug Enforcement Commission and Anti-Corruption Commission have been investigating crimes relating to people who have accrued assets illegally, and we have so far seized 24 motor vehicles that are right behind me here. These vehicles have a total value of 21,869,419 kwacha. These vehicles have been seized following a Gazette notice number 604 of 2022, in which members of the public that were the owners of these motor vehicles were given a period to claim them upon their forfeited to the state. The various motor vehicles that are here include the Land Cruiser that is right behind me here and the Hilux. We have other motor vehicles that are around here which have been seized and forfeited to the state.
Workers' Compensation Fund Control Board Acting Commissioner, who is also Chief Executive Officer, Patrick Siampwili, has revealed that since inception, expos have been a modern vehicle of marketing investment opportunities to potential investors. In a speech read on his behalf by the head Communications and Customer Services, Maybe believes that the expo will change the overall economic climate and bring prospects for business investment generally.
The opportunity granted by your provincial administration to work together during the Western Province Investment and Tourism Expo. We are aware, Minister, that the Expo will have some potential that have a capacity to revitalize the economy of Western Province. Therefore, Honourable Minister, we are delighted to partner with the provincial administration in order to benefit from the promise of increases in economic activity and the local employment opportunities that the Expo will deliver to the people of Western Province. Honourable Minister, ladies and gentlemen, the opportunities to potential investors, and the board stands ready to play a leading role in the sponsorship of such events.
Indeed, this Expo, the Western Province Tourism, Trade and Investment Expo, is supposed to take place from the 19th to the 25th of September in Mongo at the Industrial Yard. And what we are doing today is showcase the various potentials that we have in Western Province, which hitherto have not been exploited to the full. Is supporting the Southwest Tourism Corridor, if you like, which is intended to increase so that when tourists come to Livingstone, they ought to be encouraged to go to Smalaha, a game sanctuary in Mwandi, and then from there they have the opportunity to go to Ngonye Falls or Siomangwede National Park. And indeed, you can see it. I hope the figure is now showing 500.
It has doubled.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you.
The Energy Regulation Board, ERB, has revised the guidelines for the proposed location of filling stations in residential areas across the country. The ERB says it has changed guidelines for locating petroleum infrastructure in the country. ERB Public Relations Manager Namukolo Kasumpa says the decision to change the guidelines was made on August 15th during an ERB Regulatory Board meeting. She says the review was necessitated in order to address the faults of locating filling stations in residential areas and near electricity infrastructure. She adds the new guidelines seek to address the notable shortcomings of the old guidelines, particularly for setting of filling stations with regard to the safe distances from residential homes and electricity infrastructure. Ms. Kasumpa says the energy regulator is hopeful that the new guidelines will enhance the criteria for review and approval of proposed location, area or electricity infrastructure. She says the ARB has since started the process of gazetting the guidelines into a statutory instrument and appropriate regulations. Ms. Kasumpa explains that the new guidelines extend to refineries, storage facilities, filling stations. She says copies of the new guidelines are obtainable from ERB offices in Lusaka, Kitwe, Livingston, Chinsali, and the website. The Christian Churches Monitoring Group has demanded that all ministers that will be campaign managers in the oncoming Kavushi, Kwacha and Luangwa by-election should take unpaid leave for their official government duties. CCMG Steering Committee Chairperson Andrew Mwenda says this will ensure that ministers are not drawing a salary for the time they are spent serving their party instead of the people. He says in the interest of transparency, a public notice must be issued for avoidance of doubt.
Paid leave from their official government and not the people of Zambia. Further, we expect that where such leave has been sought or given, a public record be kept and a public notice be issued for avoidance of doubt and in the interest of transparency. Civil servants, number 4, civil servants and government agencies. Civil servants are required to be politically neutral and not take part in partisan politics. The CCMG we expect that government agencies such as the Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit, which is DMMU, will suspend all its activities of service to the Zambian people in areas where by-elections are taking place. DMMU was in the past seen to be active in areas where by-elections were being held, and in some cases, its senior staff were spotted at political party events.
The Kasama Regional Immigration Office has secured convictions of 3 Zambian businessmen for knowingly aiding and abetting. 10 Relations Officer Namati Nshinka says investigations later revealed that the undocumented migrants were handed over to Michael Chapakwenda by an unknown Tanzanian national. Mr. Nshinka further says Ethiopians were nabbed on 14th August 2022 in Mungwe district after a secret warning from the community.
The Immigration Office has secured the conviction of 3 Zambian businessmen for aiding and abetting 10 Ethiopian illegal immigrants by facilitating their illegal movements from Tanzania to Kasama. This is contrary to Section 46(1)(a) of the Immigrant 26 and Joseph Motentwa 32 of Lusaka, Mpika and Kitwe respectively, and the 10 Ethiopians were nabbed on 14th August 2022 in Mungwe district after a tip-off from members of the community. Investigations later revealed that the undocumented migrants were handed over to Michael Chapakwenda by an unknown Tanzanian national, and consequently on 18th August 2022, the Kasama Magistrate Court sentenced the trio to pay a fine of 2,500 kwacha each, or in default 6 months simple imprisonment. They have since been released from custody after paying the court fee. The Kasama convictions bring the total number of convictions secured by the Department of Immigration from 17th to 21st August 2022 to 34. During the same period, the Department of Immigration removed illegal immigrants from the country. We wish to encourage members of the public with information about an individual, a business, or employer.
Right back.
The Zambia Statistics Agency will this year conduct the 2021 census across the country. The census aims to count people in households, rural and urban, hospitals, military, police and correctional facilities. This numbering will extend to hotels, farms, as well as high-density areas with different families sharing a house and those in transitory locations. Every person in the country matters and should be counted because the census will benefit all, from migrants, refugees, counts. This message is brought to you by the Zambia Statistics Agency.
Now experience 4G speeds on your 3G device with the Airtel 4G Pocket Wi-Fi.
Welcome back to the main news on MUVI TV. All marketeers who lost their merchandise in the fire that recently swept through Riverside Market and those whose restaurants were burnt at Kapirimposhi Bus President's office. This is in fulfillment of Republican Vice President Mutalena Lumango's pronouncement when she toured the gutted market that government, through DMMU, will provide beans respectively. The relief package is meant to cushion the impact of the loss of their businesses. And speaking when he witnessed the payment of the traders at his office today, Kapirimposhi District Commissioner Francis Hasalama stated that government released 80,000 kwacha to pay all the affected marketeers, and DMMU Central Province Regional Coordinator Mwansa Subulwa says the affected marketeers will also soon receive food relief packs. Meanwhile, beneficiary marketeers have commended government through the DMMU for swiftly coming to their aid. Gertrude Mutambo, who lost over 17,500 kwacha worth of merchandise in form of bags of dry carpenter, says even if the money she has received is not as much as she lost in the inferno, it will give her something to restart her business. Miss Mutambo says she was destroyed Monday this week after fire swept through a storage house and about 27 shops at Riverside Market in Kapirimposhi district. In the field despite not receiving their field allowances, relocate themselves to the census is very important to every government as it helps in planning for national development. Mr. Mavena says that now that they have taken the oath and have received enumerators that the enumerators have commended the government for giving them the opportunity to carry out this important task and say they will do their best to capture all the required data that is required for national budgets as soon as everyone receives training allowances.
These are enumerators in Rufunsa district who have finished their training and have taken an oath, pledging to conduct the exercise diligently. Rufunsa District Commissioner Richard Mabena and Lusaka counterpart Rose Zulu.
You have taken the oath of secrecy. Therefore, do what you have sworn for. Carry the duties. We need to have better services, road service.
Meanwhile, DP number 20.
45 houses. And it is inconceivable within a twinkling of an eye. And the answers is, why is it that the houses in Forest 27 have not been demolished?
In a separate interview, opposition applied the law selectively when demolishing structures that were built without permission from the council.
They paid money. I'm challenging the UPND government that the results will be one. The people who were leaders, civic leaders, before 2020, we need to be serious. We cannot play with people's lives like that. You cannot. When you look at how those Mazembe, I cry with those families. What happened was does that. No government does that. Pregnant women were there out in the cold. Where are you? Mr. President, where are you? By the law selectively. Government must proceed to go and demolish the houses in forest, claiming they have applied the law on the poor citizens in Chingola. That's the same way they should apply the law on those that are occupying Forest 27. It is standing for the people of Zambia. Let them proceed to.
For local government in charge of administration,
Kennedy filed in his presidential petition challenging the election of former Vice President, now President-elect, William Ruto. Dr. Ruto, amidst chaos of disruption from Mr. Odinga's supporters, Mr. Odinga and his party believes the elections were marred.
Mungawine up to 2,000 kwacha per daily draw 275 star 5 hash send munga mkalezeni mamoto kai BMW 650i new deal game show every day at 17 to 18 hours. So play the game, play the game, play the game, play the game, play the game.
As COVID-19 cases keep rising, many business entities are affected and their revenue keeps going down to the COVID-19 pandemic. By using effective disinfectants procedures such as knockdown and residual disinfecting, purchase, and many more. Protect yourself and the people around you and get your business running with our powerful trusted disinfectants. 92230 or come to the 3rd floor, room 3, Tazara House, corner of Dedan Kimati and Independence Avenue. Follow us on Facebook, Rumpi Enterprises Limited.
This is Melvin.
Hi, Michael.
As everybody loves Melvin. And 4G speeds for your home and office. Connect.
After a morning session training on Monday at Lusafa Trophy, she notes Copper Queens will use a COSAFA Women will be held in South Africa from August 31st to September 11th, 2022.
With full force to come and win us, but I feel like I said, it's a very tough.
DEC intercepts of ministers to serve as campaign managers in the forces, reminding Combo to demolish houses at 4. This is the end of the main news. I'm Virginia Chilongo.